Hi, this is Amanda Dolan. Welcome to the Mental Society. Um, this has been a really super emotional week for me. Um, and it kind of highlighted for me that there is a difference and a similarity between depression and grief. Um, and for me, depression is something I have to watch out for because when I start to feel depressed, it could indicate a relapse in bipolar. And depression is usually longer lasting. And it's really more inwardly focused. It's this just I'm sad. Where grief is I'm I've lost someone and I'm sad. But they both you're feeling sad. You don't want to get out of bed or you don't feel like eating or um you're not interested in the same things that you used to be interested in. Um so there is a whole lot of overlap. Um and grief is normal and so don't, if you're sad because of you lost someone, that's normal. It's when it starts getting in the way. Um, and I'm sure there's some, date that's on a diagnostic manual somewhere, and I could find it, I'm sure. Um, but I'm sure there's a point where if grief is getting in the way of your everyday life, that maybe it shifts from grief to depression. Um, But I think it's important to note that like grief can come and go. Um, this has been an emotional week because this is the anniversary of my dad's death. And it's always a hard day for me. I miss him. 24 years later, I miss him. And it's I'm sad. I'm sad that my kids don't get to meet him and know him. I'm sad that I don't get to spend time with him. I'm sad that the other important people in my life haven't gotten to meet him or um just and miss him. Um and I miss him differently now than I did when I was 19. But I miss him. And this is grief and not depression. But it's extra this year because there was another big loss this week for me. I was on February 14th. My dear friend Philip passed away of cancer. And my dad died of cancer. It was this basically, the same time of year, the same things happening in the world with Valentine's Day. And um, so, yeah, the emotions have been big this week. And while the emotions have been big, they're not ones that I need to pathologize, that I need to make something wrong with. Because these are emotions and they're emotions of loss, they're sadness, because someone that I love isn't here um, with me for me to talk to. And both my dad and Philip, they had a lot in common. And I think that makes it a little harder. Because I'm reminded of both of them. Um, and so here I am crying. Not because I'm depressed and there's something wrong with me. I'm crying I'm crying because I'm sad. I'm sad that I've lost someone I care about. I'm sad that my dad didn't get to go to my son's orchestra concert last night. I'm sad that my dad doesn't get to watch my daughter's concert she's going to perform when she's in Spain. I'm and I'm sad that I won't get to talk politics with Philip anymore or religion. I won't get to talk to him about music or his days in West Texas or traveling the world for his job. And these big emotions and these tears are because I loved someone so much and was so lucky to have these two men in my life for any length of time. Um, but I'm still grieving my dad 24 years later, and it looks different than it did. And there's nothing wrong with still grieving on some level. And so don't think that you have to be done with that process. And because grief looked one way for someone else, that's not necessarily your way. So your grief is yours. Grief really doesn't ever end. It changes, it looks different. We grieve different things. But you're always grieving. And it may not show up ever or very often. But it'll likely show up. And don't pathologize your grief. Don't make there something wrong with you. But also, if it's getting in the way of doing the normal things after, whatever period of time doesn't feel good for you, then go talk to your doctor. Because maybe it's grief or maybe it's depression and it requires some other treatment. But whether you've lost someone or not, if you're feeling depressed, talk to your doctor, please. That's what they're there for. And with that, like, go out and talk to other people about what grief looks like to them, who they're missing in their lives, and then ask maybe some stories that will make you laugh, and remember that person fondly with them. And also just remember when you're talking to those people about your grief that you're not alone and that hope and help are all around you. So until next time, this is Amanda Dolan, wishing you good health, mental and otherwise.